Kona Raven again, and I have been asked to do a tutorial on just how I build the base folder for my memory folios. So I'm going to start by giving you the measurements of this one in particular. So this one is 8 1/4 by 11. This side flap here is 7 3/4. The two top and bottom flaps are 5.5 inches, and then this other side flap here is 5 inches. Now, on top of those measurements, I always add an extra 1/2 inch because that is the 1/2 inch that's going to attach to the base. So here is the base of my folder. Again, it's 8 1/4 by 11. So let's put that aside. Now I'm going to make the long flap. So I know that my flap is 5 inches wide because I've already measured it on here. So we're going to be making this flap here. So I already know that it's 5 inches wide, so I need to add a 1/2 inch to it because that's going to be what the 1/2 inch is attaching to the actual base of the folder. So I'm going to measure it at 5.5, and then I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to score. So I'm scoring at 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to score at another 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to score 3 more times an 1/8 inch. So here's 1 an 1/8 inch apart. Again, that's 2, another 1/8 inch, that's 3. You don't have to bend those score marks. That's just going to allow your folder to expand should it need to. The only thing that you're really going to crease is the first score line that you made at 1/2 inch. So that's what I've done here. Now I've done the same thing on this side. I've scored at 1/2 inch, another 1/2 inch, and then again every 1/8 inch. Now everyone can decide for themselves exactly how long they want their flap to be. So as you can see, again, I've made mine at 7 3/4. That's just about right. But let's just say you wanted it shorter, or whatever you wanted to do. You could always score your sheet first instead of cutting it to a specific length. Score it, put it up to your folder, see if you like the length of it, and if you wanted to shorten it, then you could cut off the excess. That way you don't have to worry about cutting it too short before you attach it onto your folder. So now I have this side here, and I have this side here. Okay, now let's move on to the upper and the lower flaps. So I said that each flap is 5 inches long. So I know that I have to cut this sheet at 5.5 inches. So I'm going to go 5.5, which is here. And then 5.5 again. And it's perfect already, so I didn't need to do that. All right. And then we're going to do the same type of scoring that we did for the longer sides, for the top and bottom. So again, I'm scoring at 1/2 inch, and then I'm scoring at another 1/2 inch, and then I'm scoring 3 times at an 1/8 inch each. So 1, 2, and 3. And the only one again that you're going to crease is that first 1/2 inch. And then again for the same for the other flap. 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/8 inch times 3. And again, scoring that 1/2 inch. Okay, now let's put the folder together. So I need my base page, which is, again, needs to be 8 1/4 by 11. So let's go to 11. And here's my base page. So I would recommend not using any type of tape unless you're going to use red tape, which is super strong. But I like to use glue because glue is just much more strong, and I feel like once it's adhered, it's not going to pull up or off or anything. So I'm just going to glue the edge really quick. Haphazardly gluing the edge. And I'm going to stick it underneath. So I line that up and I just put it right under. And I'm just making sure that the edge of my paper doesn't overlap where I scored, so that it closes without being hindered. So there's my first flap there. Okay, now you do the same thing for the rest of them. All right, there it is. That's the second one. So there's my overflap, there's my second flap, and now I'm going to do the top and bottom. I would prefer to use glue. Glue is going to adhere it better, much better. Okay, now that's attached. And we'll do the same here. We'll just attach this side. There we go. All right, so now we have our full folder. So we have this 2 inner flaps, 1, 2, and then we have the outer flaps, the larger one and the shorter one. And that is the base of how you do your file folders. On a separate note, because file folders are normally rounded, you can, do whatever you want to the corners. You don't necessarily have to round it, but I like mine rounded because it makes it feel more file folder-ish. And there you have it. Here is the base page for Memory Folio. If you have any questions, please let me know. And thanks so much for watching. Aloha!